Shalom, this is Reb Yoseph coming to you from the land of Israel. This week, Parshas Ekev, the Haftorah, is the second of the Haftorahs of consolation for the destruction of the temple. And the Haftorah this time is from Yeshayahu, Isaiah, and in it the prophet addresses himself to console Zion. Zion is the Temple Mount, the place where the nation would gather for the holidays. It's also a metaphor for the good people in Israel. The consolations are about things that bother them and things that they would like to see. Now, you have two types of good people that are really being addressed. The primary one is the simple people, and they're the ones that feel the pain of the nation, the loss of the temple, but were not greatly offended by the social corruption. Point of view being what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. Or if everybody's doing it, it must be right. That tends to be their mentality. But nevertheless, they love the nation, they love its shrines, and they love the Jewish holidays. So the consolation is addressed to them. Primarily, it's also addressed to the more sophisticated, the wiser people who are basically think like the prophet. So the simple people would be like, there's a famous Rabbi Arya Leib, known as the Shapula Zaidi, the grandfather from the town of Shapula. And he was known as someone who loved the Jewish people very much. He was a tzaddik nister, and he would sing songs to cheer people up and strengthen their faith. He would work hard on making peace between a man and his wife and a man and his children, peace in the family. He had a special fondness for Meshuggahers, people who are a bit weird and crazy, ganavim, thieves or crooks, shlemiels, troublemakers, but also people who were down on their luck. And really all Jews, provided that they really had a good heart and a good soul. Now, one of the stories told about him is that he took HaKadosh Baruch Hu to court and won the case. What happened was there was a famine in Russia, and the Shapula Zeta was very upset and with heartache because of the suffering of the Jewish people during this famine. And he was known as a miracle worker. So the rabbi said that he should personally be an advocate in heaven for the Jewish people. With that, he gathered the people who were the 10 most notable tzaddikim of his time, and he told them that there were going to be a Beis Din, and that he was taking God to court. And what happened is the day came and he presented his case, and basically the case reflected his Weltanschauung that in this bitter exile that the Jews were facing, no other nation would even keep a single mitzvah, but nevertheless the Jewish people keep many mitzvahs and do many good deeds as well, acts of kindness. And the Beis Din retired, and they deliberated on the case, and they found in his favor. Okay, what happened after that was a miracle, in that the Russian government then sent wagon loads filled with wheat from Siberia, and with that the famine was over. In the case of the Navi, he is rebuking the people for what would be a great social corruption, and he is basically being ridiculed and persecuted for it, both by the non-Jews, both by the Jews and the non-Jews. So you have consolations for both of them. In the case of the simple people, they say that their children will be restored, that their enemies will lick the dust, that the nations and the kings that were persecuting them will be their servants and their patrons, and that Jerusalem will be so crowded, people will say, gosh, it's amazing how crowded it is. And they'll be bedecked like a bride on her wedding day. And it continues that the people who hope to God will not be disappointed in their hope, and that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is more powerful than the most powerful man. In the case of the Navi, he is told that eventually that the rebuke that he is given will be accepted, and that not only will it be accepted by Israel, but it will also make him a light unto the nations, and that he can take some pride in the fact that even though he was being afflicted and humiliated, nevertheless he had the forbearance and courage to stand up for these on these tests. And not only that, but he was articulate and perceptive, so that he could give encouragement and strength to the weary, in that ultimately his enemies will be severely punished, in that Israel, both the people and the nation, will be restored to its greatest, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will return to Zion, and that it will be a pleasant and beautiful place. It will be filled with joy and gladness and the sound of music. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.